Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, I would like to introduce you to our moderators and our panelists for this session. Our moderator, Dr. Tan Awang Besar, started his career as Assistant Secretary at the Ministry of Culture, Arts and Heritage in 1995. He has since worked in various Cabinet Affairs Division, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Malaysia. Our first panelist, Dato' Haji Siddiq bin Haji Jamil. Dato' Haji Siddiq Haji Jamil retired as the Director General of the National Archives of Malaysia after 36 years of service. During his tenure, he held key positions in various sections and divisions before becoming the Deputy Director General in 2006. He was promoted as the Director General in July 2007 and held the post until his retirement in 2010. The exposure and experience gained while attending and participating in various workshops, seminars, conferences, and symposiums on records management and archives administration at the national and international level throughout his career were invaluable in assisting him in discharging his duties. Our second panelist, Datuk Dr. Zainah Ibrahim. Datuk Dr. Zainah Ibrahim was appointed as the Director General and Commissioner of Heritage on 2nd June 2014. She began her career on 1st September 1984 at the Federal Department of Town and Country Planning. She had served in various divisions at the FDTCP and was the Director of Research and Development Division before her appointment as the Commissioner of Heritage. She is currently responsible for the conservation and preservation of the cultural heritage of Malaysia. And our third panelist is Dr. Vu Thi Minh Huong. Dr. Vu Thi Minh Huong was the former Director General of the State Records and Archives Department of Vietnam. She was appointed Vice President of the Vietnamese Association of Archivists in 2011 and the Vice President of the Regional Committee of the Memory of the World, Asia and the Pacific, MOCAP, for the terms of 2014 until now. She is a member of the Portrait International Archivistic Francophone Committee since September 2016. She has published more than 50 scientific and technical articles in professional journals and has written guides, directories, and thematic collections in the Vietnamese language and in French. Now, without further delay, I will hand over the stage to our moderator.
Thank you, Mr. MC, both Mr. MC and Miss MC. Yeah? Thank you very much for the introduction for myself and also my panelists. Okay, good morning, everybody. It's before 12, it's still morning. Good morning. Welcome to the last session, actually. This is the last session that we're going through. Bear with us. I think it takes very short for a while only before one, because I believe there will be a lot of burning questions that will be asked to the panelists. Okay, allow me to quote some statement. Before that, the archive advocacy in Southeast Asia and heritage and aspiration. This actually is the theme for this seminar. Based on my observation, the theme, basically heritage is something that we left behind. Then aspiration is something that we go forward, right? So with that note, today we're going to discuss about the archive and heritage advocacy. So as I mentioned just now, we are talking about, I would like to quote some note from the Larry Hedmans. I believe everybody know about him. Actually, what is advocacy mean? So basically, he defined advocacy as activities consciously aim to persuade individual or organization to act on behalf of a program or institution. In other words, archive advocate when they undertake specific action to justify their existence, to fulfill their mission, and to expand their influence. Advocacy can take place within the context of a single institution, a community, a state, a nation, and even across nations. It is integral to all aspects of archival work. Even small actions such as interaction with researchers can have outsized effect on the archival program reputation. So that's a vast definition when we are talking about advocacy. So with that, I would like to pose some questions to our panelists because to make the time short, actually. Okay, Datuk Siddiq, on my left, Datuk Siddiq. You have been with the National Archive of Malaysia for about 36 years. I believe that with that such vast experience, you have many things to tell. And even during your time as a Director General on the National Archive of Malaysia, you have successfully led the department to organize the first ICA Congress in Asia here in Kuala Lumpur in 2008. So Datuk, as the icebreaker to our forum this morning, can you elaborate about the archival advocacy and share your experiences educating the outreach program for the National Archive during your time, and also explain how the archive can be used in various fields for different purposes, such as in education? Please, Datuk.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tan. Terima kasih. Very good morning. I'm lucky I'm still in the morning. So thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the Sarbika and also National Archive for inviting me today. I've retired 8 years already, so I thought I'm having a different kind of life already. So now I have to come to the stage where I have to try to remember what I have done, you know, that kind of thing. So now with this question, Dr. Tan posed me, I have to go back to 2008, but there are a lot of people here who have been in 2008, they might help me what we have done. So to me, what I want to share, because the last question is the purpose, such as for education, entertainment, infotainment, commercial. I think the question that I have to answer is going to take me 4 hours to answer. But now I'm given probably 7 to 10 minutes or 15 minutes the most. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. But anyway, the Malays always say that they have petua. You know? I don't know what in English is petua. Tips. That's a tips. So the tip is you try to summarize everything. So if you don't understand, either you forget it or you can ask me a question. Okay? So okay, now, first of all, I would like to, I want to give my appreciation to the previous leaders of ARCIP, like Datuk Zakia, was one of the earliest leaders. She was the DG for more than 18 years, almost 20 years. And after that, Datuk Habibah, Datuk Rohani, Zawawi, and finally myself. So, because you said that I'm leading the Congress 2008 at the time, the Congress, when the nomination and the lobbying to get, you know, in international organization, you cannot just simply, next 2 years we want to be the host. No. You have to lobby many people so that the members will agree. Okay, we agree. So that, I give it to Datuk Habibah for doing it. Please, give. Tepuklah sikit. So, and then of course, I am like 4x4 runners. I'm the last person to carry the baton, you know. So, that's what I did the last 3 years, 2006 until 2008. So, thank God, we managed to have it the good Congress. And I think one of the things that I want to tell you, and it's not easy to invite all over the world to come over to Kuala Lumpur, which is very far, and it costs a lot of money. But we managed to convince, this is what I'm talking about advocacy, convincing. I think Dr. Tan also just said this now, is convincing. To convince them to come to Malaysia all the way. And we managed to get 123 over countries. The first time since the first Congress attended by that many countries. Now, of course, participant, we cannot beat the European, because in Europe they take a train, by bus load, train load, they come and attend the conference. To come to Malaysia, you have to fly, you have to pay more, you know. And for your information at the time, in terms of tourism, we make a lot of money, you know, at that time. We make a lot of money, because if people come, stay in hotel, they pay. See, the fees for the Congress, they pay. And they 50-50 with the ICA and Akib Negara and the government of Malaysia. So what do we get? What we get is one recognition. This is what I call in Akib. We are not really talking about money. We are talking about branding, return of branding. So if you want to do advocation, you talk about ROB, return of branding. You spend this money. What is branding? Because sometimes when you want to do justification, you go to a ministry, you say, this much we make, this much. Cannot. Akib, you cannot quantify with money. But the branding, yes. You imagine 120 over countries knows us, Malaysia, where Malaysia is, because they come here. And I told them, if you come to Malaysia, I said, I give you executive room with the same amount you pay in Europe for £50 or £70. Oh, they were surprised, you know. So they come. Convincing is very important. When you want to do advocacy, but before you convince the people, you got to talk to your heart and convince yourself. If you are activist and you're not convinced what you're doing, and you want to convince other people, forget it. You will be there forever. Any archival in the world, if you don't believe in yourself, you want to convince people, forget it. You are going to be there forever. Nobody is going to care you. Because when you talk also, because it's not from the heart. When you want to talk, you must talk from the heart. When you talk from the heart, people, oh, yeah. Even they don't believe, at the end of the day, they believe and they trust you. See, this is a psychology part of art convincing. So, I don't know whether I'm hitting the right thing today, Dr. If I'm going away, you let me know. Huh? Okay, so to start is with yourself. You must be convinced you are activist, you are doing something great for the country. Yes, other people doing great in other areas, but you, in this area, you are doing great. You contribute something to the country, then only you can convince other people. Okay? So, okay, another experience, I think, based on that one. Thank you. I mean, I congratulate Akib Negara. I give an example. This is an example. I congratulate Akib Negara for launching the Aisyah IDS apps, which is very good. Up to date in the sense, technology. But my question is, do your content differ from the first one when we do on the web? Do your content, which you publish on the WhatsApp or whatever on the mobile, same with the one that people can get from your website. This you have to think. You have time to improve it. My imagination, it should be at least 10 or 20% of the content should be more on animation or something like video, movement, not just photo and then you read, photo and you read. How can you give the children and hey, this is what I can, the material. The kids, I don't want to read. In video, I want to look, I want to read, I want to listen, I want to see. And I remember this morning, our friend from education, he said, the learning process, students, some they like to listen, some like to hear, and some like to see, some like to experience. That's, I think, the archivists must understand. Pick up that part, and you develop your material, the archive, in that sense, so that it's more appealing to the student. Don't shock sendiri, you just do, no. That's not good. So I hope the next level will be, Dato' Azmi has still got time to do that. I know he got another 3 years to go. So I hope, Dato' Azmi, you can Get few people. You don't have the people inside, get somebody outside. Get researchers, get those who are good in animation. You do little. No, I'm not asking 100% of the content. We go progressively, at least 20%, you know. So there are part of our archives enjoyed by the public or by the people or by the student, whoever. That's what we want. We want people enjoy. In life, you know, the most important thing people like enjoying. People, everybody there, did you enjoy going to UK? Did you enjoy? Everybody asks what enjoy. So you must make this thing enjoy, okay? Okay, that's number 2. One, yourself. Secondly, you must upgrade from time to time. Yes, you want to go together with the time, with the technology, but not just merely technology, but also the content must also attractive. Okay. I think another thing is we, as an archivist, I hope you must get rid of the culture of instant me. You know what I mean when instant me, you know. You go and buy Maggi, put the boil water and throw it, and then you get the me. No. You have to develop culture of me mama at least. Where the me mama, first you put the oil, you put the bawang, you put any ingredient, whatever, and then you put the eggs, you put the meat, and you process it. You must be able to process the information, the archive that you have, and present it to people. Then, not a Maggi mee, you get this, or can. I said a can, this is a canned fruit. Like you have baked beans, open, masak, ready-made. That's not interesting. That is for army in the jungle. They don't have time to cook. Okay, they can eat Maggi mee, they can eat the baked beans. But you, as an archive, you must make it beautiful. Beautiful. You present it to people, then more attractive. And maybe this group like this kind of me, this group like this kind of me. So you must see who is your target. So my next level is you must identify your target group. Who is your target group? If you say student, education. Yeah, this here you said education. There's a lot of things you can do in education. But I want to comment one thing. Until today, I think there's a PT3, they said local history. So they come to archive, they refer to already photostat 50 copies at the time on a popular subject. So every year, year in, year out, the student come, they will talk about Tengku, they will talk about Wan Bangunan, they talk about this only the subject which is on the secondary. So we are not moving. So we have to move forward. All right? That means you have to work with education minister. I remember a long time ago when I was a young officer in 1978, we have the first colloquium on oral history. So we want to put the oral history into the curriculum. And we were lucky at that time, Dato' Asya Abu Sama, who was the director of education, the senior one, you know, Dato' Asya Abu Sama was the director of CDC, Curriculum Development Center. We went with her, okay, we want to introduce oral history to the student. But oral history on local history, interviewing a local people, their uncle, their auntie, but you have to teach them. And then asking something local, something historical about the family, who is your grandfather last time, you know. But towards the end, I think at that time the problem is technology, because we don't have handphone. 78, you know, mind me. I don't have handphone. If I go out from office, nobody can contact me unless you send a policeman to get me. You see? Yes, that happened sometime last time. You know, when you need somebody, you know, you cannot get. You got the policeman go and search this person in the house and get, because this is surgeon. You know, that kind of thing. All right. So now I think the student no problem. Everybody has your handphone. You can record. Technology move. We don't use. You do oral history with your handphone. You don't ask them to interview the grandfather or the uncle or the family for 3-4 hours. You ask them about, every 15 minutes, start every 15, 1 hour enough. They have got a lot of information. Then only, if you see just now, the education policy blueprint, all right? Blueprint what? First, knowledge. You give them knowledge, they have the knowledge, local knowledge, they have archival knowledge based on primary material. When they have knowledge, then the second one, from bottom, what? Thinking, right? Thinking. Do you know what thinking is all about? I'm sorry, you all are graduate, PhD and whatnot. I may be wrong, but my definition of thinking, I'm not going to ask you, don't worry. This is not a classroom where I ask you, you don't get the penalize you. No. My understanding of thinking is a process in the brain to compare information in the brain or knowledge in the brain. So if you don't have input knowledge in the brain, how you want to think? If you know 3 types of bottles, then you keep comparing, comparing. I know only 3 types of bottle, I'm comparing the bottle only. But if you have input, you know 10 bottles, oh, yeah, this shape like this one like this. So this is where, what I'm trying to say is the knowledge on archival material, this information, give them, let them carry it, and let them get excited. That's, I think it's very crucial. And then finally, I'm not going to go, I think, otherwise, no. Huh? Okay, now, you have, I think, as archivist or anybody like government servant or whatever, you must always remember, I know you have gone for studies here and there, seminar here and there, you learn something. You must remember one thing, you must remember reality and theory are 2 different things. Don't just simply you have theory, you want to implement that. No, you must first, as I said, do a mee goreng, then only you use that theory. Otherwise, we are not going to go anywhere, tell you. Okay, I think I had enough. I can continue, but I pity to the Rina and they have a little share. So I already see this now, but I have taken a 15 minute. Okay. Thank you very much then. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Dato, for your opinion, suggestion, and also your sharing of your experience. Okay, now I'm going to pose the question to Dato Dr. Zainal. Recently, we know that our minister actually come from the same ministry. So our minister had declared the living, about 6 living figures, 24 heritage sites, 225 artifacts, and a total of 149 songs have been declared as a national heritage. So, as we can see, there were not only sites and artifacts, but also a living figures and song can be declared as a heritage. So my question is, why do we need this declaration? And why such effort need to be held in the context of a country? Please, Doctor.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. Just crossed 12 o'clock. Okay, thank you, the organizer, for having me here to share and our experience in protecting our national heritage. Okay, so first of all, I would very much like to answer Dr. Tan in terms of Malaysia as a country and a state party to UNESCO World Heritage. We have under Memory of the World, we have, all the documents. We also are a member of the World Heritage Site Convention 1972, and we are also under the international, or the, we call it Intangible Cultural Heritage, another convention. So these 3 main conventions. So Malaysia is very much committed and also very keen. In fact, we are at our best to say, our best level to protect Malaysia's heritage by actually we established the National Heritage Act in 2005, which was actually in force in 2006, first March of 2006, whereby the Department of National Heritage was established. Okay, with the role of actually conserving, maintain and protect Malaysia's cultural, whether it's tangible or intangible, includes the documentary, in this case archives, and also we have the ecological, whether it's land or underwater, as well as living person, as you put rightly, Dr. Tanya. And thus far, we have 21 plus 6, the recent declaration by the minister on the 17th of October, it was just last week. There are 6 more living persons added into the list, which makes up of 27 living persons. You know, those time in 2005, our act was considered the most comprehensive because I was talking to some colleagues from Thailand, for example. They were surprised because intangible cultural heritage was part of the act, not only the tangible or the natural, but also included in the living person. So this is actually at the highest level, whereby, you know, we have a status whereby we call it heritage, and at the national level we call it national heritage, and that includes all this, the one that Dr. Tan was just has just mentioned just now. So at the national level, why this is important is that you are, you know, I can give you at least 3 main points. That is, one, in terms of the protection and preservation. Because this, what I mean to say is that it is well protected, you know, and we have even some sort of, you know, how we go about to protect this. Because, for example, if I take a building, if it's a national heritage, then, or even the documentation, the preservation work is continuous. And this ensure you extend the lifespan of whatever documents or even buildings, you know, that is one. Secondly, in terms of the value add to the existing building, once it is declared as national heritage, we do not take ownership. It stays to whoever owns the building or the documents. In this case, if archives is under archive, you know, archive department, so it stays wherever who owns it. So, but the thing is, people use for reference, you know, the longevity or the lifespan will be extended. Okay, that is second. And people use this usually to export or to promote it for references, for research, and so on. And the third value is that it creates the economic returns for whoever owns it. Because once it, you know, being given the status or declared as national heritage, one, we can even promote it to a higher level, which is UNESCO level or international level. On top of that, for a building, for example, you can, once it is protected and conserved, people can use it. If it's a house, then you can use it as a house, extend the building itself, or you can adaptive reuse, a technical term in architectural aspect, which people can use it for other function. For example, a house can be turned into a gallery, for example, or if you can see a majestic hotel just nearby, just in front of the KTM, the railway station, whereby it is turned into a hotel. And the economic return is so obvious in terms of the tourism sector, you know, the people, you know, employment opportunities, and so on and so on. You know, you name it. You know, there are so many spillover effects. You know, getting it recognized as natural heritage. So I would say it's not. It's actually, you know, giving benefits to the local people as well, not only to the owner. Yeah.
Okay, another question, Datuk. You can see that how to qualify. What is the criteria actually for to be qualified as a so-called to the object or to the person as a national heritage, please?
Yeah. Under our act, the same act, yeah, National Heritage Act, or Act 645, under the section 67, that empowers the minister, in our case is Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, to declare one element or items to be a national heritage on the 9 criteria under section 67.2, whereby first and foremost, why it is historical, it has the historical importance. For example, I take an example because if you were to ask me, some examples, do you know about the Matic building in Jalan Ampang? It used to be the first parliamentary session. So it is now used, or as I said earlier, adaptive reuse in terms of the usage of the building, while the facade and the whole building has still in its intact, so-called well protected, but the function is used as the Malaysian Tourist Information Center. And what I'm saying is that the significant value of the building is intact, is still there. People can come and enjoy the building, as the same as Bangunan Sultan Abdul Samad, just in front of the Independence Square. And secondly, in terms of the design, the unique design and aesthetic, I'm just mentioned about the Bangunan Sultan Abdul Samad, because it used to be the administrative building of the administrative building before the independence, and it is so unique in terms of architectural value. It's Moorish design architecture. So that is the second part. It can also be in terms of the so-called innovation, technical scientific elements that consist or is embedded in the building. For example, you take fort like Fort Cornwallis. It used to be for defense purposes, And I can also take KLCC for that matter because of its, innovation and technical, scientific creativity of human innovation. So that can be also, but of course KLCC has not yet, but it can be as a national heritage, and so on. There are so many criteria, 9 criteria, and of course uniqueness of a place. For example, you have Sungai Batu, how it creates, for example, in terms of rarity and uniqueness. On top of also, I think many knows about archaeological heritage of Lembah Lenggong. It's 1.83 years. It's the oldest inhabited place because 1.83 million years ago, when meteorite falls in Bukit Buno in Lenggong Valley, and where the whole village was run down and nobody was able to survive, and it's becoming a World Heritage Site now. So there's about the some of the criteria I can mention here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zainah. And then we move to the next presenter or speakers. Basically, when we are talking about the memory of world heritage, a memory of world, basically, for me as a layman, basically I'm asking what actually it's all about, right? So I think this is the right time. We have Dr. Wu with us. You as the Deputy Chairperson of the Memory of the World for Committee for Asia Pacific, MAVCAP Bureau. There were a number of initiatives taken by MAVCAP to preserve the documentary heritage, especially in Southeast Asia, in the Southeast Asia. Can you explain what actually is Memory of the World and what the program is all about? Please, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Tan. And I'd like to express my thank you to the chair of SABICA, DG of the National Archives of Malaysia, to invite me to be here in the occasion of 50th anniversary of SABICA and the same seminar. Good afternoon, everybody. And I think Dr. Lim Kuming already talked about the memory of the world in general and the MOCAP is the Memory of the World Program of Asia and the Pacific. So I'm now the vice chair after my duty in like DG in the National Archives of Vietnam. And sincerely, I'm very happy to be here to see our dear friend Sidek Jamin and a lot of colleagues, because 10 years ago I am be invited to attending to the ICA Congress organized by the National Archives of Malaysia. And during my career in archives, National Archives, I think it's not only our duty to promote our archives, but every manuscript, books, and maps, and another support to become heritage, documentary heritage. That is why I pay attention about this program, and the program of Memory of the World. It is an international program launched by UNESCO in 1992. And for our region, for Asia and the Pacific, the Memory of the World create for the first general meeting in China in 98. So until now, it's 20 years. And recently, in South Korea, in Gwangju City, we celebrate also 20 years of Memory of the World. So the activities of the MOCAP, of the MOCAP Bureau, or the Memory of the World program, is not only to preserve our documentary heritage, but also to promote, to assess this precious documentary heritage after register in the international, regional, and national register. So we have a lot of activity to promote to public to understand how is the activity of this program, and especially for the future generation to understand the value of national or regional or international value significance in this collection. To talk about our activities nowadays with the development of IT technology, the MOCAP developed also a lot of activity to promote the public to recognize the program, like this, the fan page, website, the newsletter, also the website, and one of our activities during our 20 years, we published a lot of publication, and the website to link with the UNESCO and another branch, another region in the world. And we have also the exhibition in the country or between country to exhibit our documentary heritage.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I believe we don't have much time, but actually I would like to pose one question to all the panelists. The question is, how archive or heritage actually can inculcate or educate or instill the nationhood among the citizen? So I would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Datuk to give your opinion on my question, please.
Very tough question. How to inculcate? You want to talk about inculcation means this is, as far as I'm concerned, it involves feeling, right? You want to make people believe and feel So it involves feeling. So when it involves feeling, so the thing that you want to pass on to them also must touch their feeling. Something, it touches your feeling, it will last longer. Something doesn't touch your feeling, in a few hours, 1 day, 2 days, you forget about it. So if you inculcate this feeling of nationhood or nationalism, whatever, so you must present the information in such a way that it touches their feeling. Say, for example, you show photograph during the war, our building, you know, being struck by whatever bomb, whatever, and then people dying. So we say, this is our hero falling during the war, you know, or maybe you make. This is the role of the entertainment, like film and whatnot. So that was, I said, one of the major issues today is how archives work with these people like infotainers, educators, and whoever. These are your partners. I pick up from Gauri just now, I agree 100%. You must have partners who are willing to listen to you, willing to work with you, and you know. So whose responsibility to inculcate this nationalism? The simple answer, everybody must have, cannot. You must focus. Who are the, to me, as a citizen, the best platform is the school, education. Because education, we taught them from young, see? When their brain is still empty in the sense that not many corrupting inside their brain. You know? So this is when, you know. That's why at one time last time I have a dream to start giving the archives to the kindergarten. When I retired, I made one film on Tunku Abdul Rahman. So we sell it to RTM. RTM view it, I don't know what time, you know. Time which is, you know, RTM will look for money with advertisement. Film on Tunku Abdul Rahman will not generate income, man. Please. They will not show prime time. This is the reality I'm talking about just now. Theory and reality, right? So, how you are going to teach these young children? And when we wanted to sell this one, I thought, you know, this is a good video. It's animation, on animation. So we give to the kindergarten. Let them play with and listen, look at Tengku in the caricature and whatnot. I didn't realize my friend, my partner, was when they give to RTM together with what do you call that, copyright. So I cannot do it. It's gone. And sleep. The thing is sleeping in RTM. I'm very sorry, I'm retired. I have to tell about it. So, as me, you can check and see what happened to this Tengku punya film dulu, video. Do you still have it? Maybe you as a government agency, the copyright belong to the government, so you can look at that. You make 1,000 or only 5 ringgit or 10 ringgit CD, man. You distribute to all the kindergarten. Let the kindergarten see. And that's how, to me, inculcation of this thing is from young. That's why the Malay said, apa nama buluh ni from daripada young. You are already, you know, youngsters also is a bit difficult already. When you start working, it's worse. Because you forget about nationalism, you forget love for the country, you want to make money, or you want to survive. Tonight, I want to go and drink coffee. Now, we got coffee last time, kopitiam only last time, only how much? 20 cents. Now it's almost 20 ringgit kopitiam. So I have to work. We got time to think about this country. I mean, reality. This is reality. So, when? So we have to start. That's it. Okay. That's how I look at it.
Okay,
Sorry,
Dato'.
Dato'.
Okay, Dato', thank you. Now we would like to listen from Dr. Zainah, please.
Okay. When we talk about heritage, I think part of it is documentation, archives, and all that. I think this encompasses the whole, our culture, It's actually is what we are. Heritage is, the legacy of the past, and it's a living kind of, heritage that we are carrying on, and how we pass this to our next generation. So yes, I agree with Dato' Jamil by saying that we have to inculcate this from, childhood. Because I know, our function, our main role, as I said, is to conserve, maintain, and protect the national heritage. But how we do it is through research, and then we document it, documentation, second, research, documentation. And then we monitor, ensure that it is, in good shape, yeah? And of course, lastly, the fourth, is to actually raise the awareness among the people, the youngsters, and again, coming back to, I think, and the awareness does not stop there. And we now should go further, the awareness, by having it as part of the curriculum in the education system. And how I see it, for example, we have Mak Yong. Mak Yong? A kind of performance that was actually inscribed in the Intangible Cultural Heritage way back 2005. And now I know Indonesia is coming to also propose this as part of their ICH in the UNESCO level. I think the meeting will be held somewhere end of November this year. That is called Intergovernmental Committee for ICH, or Intangible Cultural Heritage, whereby, Mak Yong has been a part of curriculum by the, I think, the Kelantanese schools, and the youngsters make them as part of their curriculum. As part of the school, they will, have this group of youngsters doing Mak Yong. So I think it should go beyond the raising of awareness, but inculcate in and also part of the education system.
Okay, thank you, Dato'. Now let's hear from Dr. Woon.
Yes. I don't want really to answer the question, but I would like to share my opinion between archives and heritage. Do you see on the screen, in our ASEAN member, we have until now 50 documentary heritage. And I would like to tell you that almost our documentary heritage is in archives. It's very, very important for the National Archives or Provincial Archive or library is to not only to preserve the archives, but to research, like you say, to research and to know the significance and to build the nomination and proposal to the UNESCO for recognition on the registry. But after the register, it's the task of the National Archive or the Documentary Institute to promote, to make access to public, especially to children, scholars, students, and the public and the new generation. So one of the most important activity of MOCAP now is to encourage for the whole member state of ASEAN to create the knowledge center. The knowledge center of the memory of the world is the place to invite everybody, but especially for scholar, researcher, young generation, to go to see their documentary heritage and to maybe to create a film or books or newspaper, etc. So I'd like to insist the relationship very, very close between archives and memory of the war.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Woon. I think that's a good to summarize what has been discussed on advocacy. Now I would like to open to the floor. If any our participant, dear participant, would like to raise or ask to our panelists, not to the moderator, to the panelists, please. So please, please mention your name and which agency you came from, and then pose your question direct to the person that you want to ask, please.
Yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Raja Azim. I'm from Finas. Firstly, I would like to invite everyone to actually have a visit to our facility tomorrow. We're going to open up Finas. You have the chance to see our capabilities for now. That we can actually share with all the delegates here. Number one, I've got an open question, perhaps to everyone, which involves the archive community and also the heritage community regarding Industry 4.0. We see a lot of that. It's the inward for now with the within our countries, Industry 4.0, and regarding those industry, I foresee there are good technologies which can be considered as a game changer, like always, that can be used by the archive community and also the heritage community. What is the panel view on it? Number one, what's the plan for it? And of course, we know that, yeah, you should start from school. That's good. Everyone knows it. So what's the plan like? What's the blueprint like to approach that? Because it's coming up. We don't want to be late on that. And perhaps you can share a bit with all the delegation on it. That's the question.
Okay. Dato, you have anybody? Actually, it's open to everybody. Panels, please.
That because for us, you know, sometimes people want to access to our list of inventories. You know, what are the things is, whether it's heritage or national heritage or even international, UNESCO recognized World Heritage sites, for example, or even MOW. We have that in our website. But the thing is, we know we are going into 4.0 industrialization era, whereby everything is digitalized, right? And what we did so far is everything that we have, done the research and we documented it in terms of CDs, videos, and so on. But most importantly is that the inventory, is in the system, which, sad to say, we do not have that as yet. We are asking from the APU or or you call it Rancangan Malaysia, ke-10 and now 11th. And even later on, we are trying very much to get that, because, and one of the requirements by UNESCO as well, we must have that, because I think most importantly is access, as we said, yeah? People can access to it. Then it can be used as references. So meanwhile, it's still manually done, but we hope, very soon, really soon, that we have it in digital form, so that everybody can access to it. Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Woon, you have any comment? Sorry.
Yes, I'd like to inform you that for the MOCAP activities, this year we have a grant for the Documentary Institute to make copy of photography, to make film. For example, for Malaysia, we have a small grant, not too big, but small grant to do the film for the documentary heritage of the Tuanku, like this, or for digital for Cambodia. We have also the project to make a digital the 400,000 picture of a negotiate Tung Slang Museum. So we have a lot of project, not only for archives, but another support. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's very interesting. The question is master plan. Who is preparing the master plan? My question back. So the way I look at it, the archives or the heritage sector, and plus including the customer or the users, stakeholders must get together and work together as a joint venture and then benefit together. For example, FINAS, you have a grant to give for people to make film, right? So you make sure that the film that they want to do based on heritage or documentary heritage, whatever. But sometimes the film is about something else. You know, Hantu Mak Lima and whatnot. You know. And then box office. So how are we going so to me, all the state, including the education also, because if you want to make a film, the kids are going to see it. So this is where also you want to inculcate, you know, to inform them, hey, look at the other side of the story, you know. This is not about khayal or whatever. See, this is something about something that you should know. So to me, all the stakeholders, all the sector, you must work together and don't work in silo. I can see in Malaysia, there's a lot of things we have been done in silo. So that's why we fail. We don't get support for everybody and we disagree. As many people say, we must learn to disagree in order to agree. But not many people can you know, subscribe or do that. But that's it. Education, everybody. Then there must be someone on top become the driver. You know, who's going to push it. And then in each of these stakeholders, there must be someone who will become champion. Like so Heritage had a champion, Archive had a champion, Museum had a champion, Education had a champion, FINAS had a champion. So you have, and with because I think now today's world is all about cooperation, joint venture, win-win situation, whatever you name it. You have to be together. You are single or two-person combined, you are not strong. You are not strong, you have to be strong. Because this is the field where, you know, people don't see the money coming in. Sad to say. But as I said just now, this is the brand. Return of brand. Because the brand, what is the brand? The brand is your country. Your country. That's where you have to explain to these people how. So that's all.
Okay.
Dr. Tan.
Okay, thank you, Dato. Can I see hand? How many else want to ask questions so that I can manage the time properly? Okay, we have one here, two. We have two only, three. Any more hands, please? Three. We have three questions more, right? Okay, so, okay, we start with that gentleman over there, please.
Very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Andy from a privately owned records management company here in Malaysia. First of all, I would like to express thank you and gratitude to Sabika as well as Akib Malaysia for inviting us here last 2 days. It's been an absolute pleasure and also enlightening experience, okay? So I have two related questions, very quick, for Dr. Zaina from the Department of Heritage. My first question is the Heritage Act about conserving, I think, maintaining and protecting national heritage. Does it also cover recovery of our national heritage from overseas? And if yes, my second question is how much of our national heritage, artifacts and all, are actually overseas, and what are we as a country doing to actually get them back, given our past colonial history?
Okay. We had some experience actually retrieving some of the so-called heritage from, you know, somehow was being brought out of the country. Okay. We have not, you know, have the full record of what has been taken out because some were not revealed and yet to be, you know, researched on. But we have experienced bringing back the skeleton from the cave of Cha, Gua Cha in Kelantan, from Cambridge. Okay, And also the other example was the remains of Captain Laksmana Ali, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But we managed to bring him back from Singapore, yeah? And yes, we have such records, and yes, we will, continue doing that. And I hope, as we did mention, and Dato' put rightly, yeah, we need the collaboration from all parties, yeah, all walks of life. I mean, if you heard of something that is being brought out of the country, because we can take actions in our act, because the provision is so comprehensive in the sense that, we can take, legal action for those who take it out from the country. And because even when you found something during, as you walk by in your neighborhood, for example, archaeological remains, for example, or findings, you must immediately inform the Commissioner of Heritage, or in this case, in the Department of National Heritage, or the nearest pejabat daerah, yeah, the local planning authority nearby. So please do so, and we hope we can retrieve more of our remains and heritage from overseas back to our country, where it belongs, yeah. Bawa balik, orang kata apa, pulang ke gagang, as what we did for Perak Man, if you know, yeah, he has been like travel around the country, even to Japan. So it is now put in his correct position in Lembah Lenggong or Lenggong Valley. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dato'. Can we have the ladies participant at the back there first?
I think the mic
Okay,
is...
never mind. Since the mic is
with me
here,
now, yeah.
let's our gentleman over here ask the
Sorry,
question.
thank you very
Yes.
much. I'm Dr. Jem from UKM. I've got a comment as well as a question. It opens to any of the speakers, but I think I would like to concur with Dr. Zaina in terms of heritage. But I think my question is, because I think when you talk about the archive, one of the challenges is actually to create a living archive and animating the archive itself. And my question with regard to heritage is, because the way you see heritage is very much the institutional definition of heritage itself. Whereas I think we are now in a new Malaysia, we are looking at the people-centric definition of heritage. So how do you reconcile the difference between the institutionally defined heritage with the people-centric heritage? So that, because harking back to your question about inculcating the love for the archive or the heritage. Because I agree with you when you said that it's not about awareness anymore. This is about creating consciousness about our heritage. In the sense that when we have consciousness, we have passion and love for the heritage itself. So the question is no longer about inculcating, but about acculturation of heritage and the archive itself within our culture. I think that's very much about how we value, because my comment is as well, because when you talk about, oh, this is the job of education to do that. The problem with education, in Malaysia sometimes, when you formalize something like this, it's supposed to be, as I said, animating the heritage. It's about passion, about love, about appreciation. But sometimes when we consign that to education, it becomes so formalized. Everything has to be tested, graded, audited, so the passion is lost along the way. So, and also I would like to know what is, in relation to my question about the people-centric and institutional-centric, what is the way forward for heritage itself in Malaysia? Okay?
Yes. Well, I think people-centric is not new even, We are doing this for the whole people. Because when we say heritage, what is heritage? It's actually part of us. It's our lifestyle. Because eventually, heritage is actually our identity, Because what we portray to the world, people want to come to a country. I mean, we talk about tourism, ecotourism, heritage tourism, because people don't come for a place just because of its beaches or, you know, whatever interesting of the state or the place. But people want to see how's the people lifestyle, what do they eat, you know, maybe probably for me, I will also find, if you go for a place, what is interesting, what kind of food that they eat, that you want to try, for example, you know, things that, what they perform, what they do every day, is something that actually creates our identity, yeah? Because kita panggil jati diri lah, in Malay. So that is very important. So meaning to say, in order to do that, you can't be like, you know, doing the hardware, but the software, the living, the people who are actually the so-called the software of the place is very much related to. That is why when we say about preserving or conserving the heritage, definitely is dealing with the people. And how we do it, how we conserve is actually going back to the people. That is the spirit from UNESCO. When we go for intangible cultural heritage, it must involve the community, the local community, how they actually protect. It's not us, as you said, mechanismally, you know, the people or the government wants to do it, you know, the department or the Ministry of Education, no. It's going back to the people, you know, people-centric, whereby they have to be the one to propose what kind of culture, what kind of things that they think that is actually representing them to be portrayed, to be well known to the international level. So that is what we are doing from the start. It's never that we leave the people out. That is why when we say about heritage, everybody is included in, and everybody can propose, you know, according to the Act. It's the provided in the provision of the Act that everybody can propose anything that they deem necessary and is significant, and it has significant heritage value in it. So I wouldn't say it's just now because with the new government, we are now going into, you know, the so-called people-centric, but we are from the start, you know, with the people and for the people. And we will do it, you know, and we will strive to do it till the end. Yeah? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for the answer. So I would like to invite the last person who would like to pose the question. Please, yes.
Thank you, Dr. Tan. I'm Nusriati Awang Hasim, archivist from National Archives of Malaysia. Let's give a big applause to Sabika and National Archives of Malaysia for having this seminar. That is a buy-in. Buy-in power, that is very important. Yeah? All right. I don't want to ask any question. I just to share my suggestion and aspirations, so-called. I feel so grateful to be part of the this seminar, even though as the participant. And then I think everybody do share lots of sharing from yesterday until this morning, and even up to this point of time. We see a lot of initiatives and efforts taken on so-called to promote archival advocacy to our society. And from all the sharing, I feel that it seems like everybody, for example, locally, like university, they just know what are their own initiatives. And from this seminar, and then we do share, oh, this university have done this university have done this, you know. So I think we need to have an maybe official platform to group all the so-called, I think universities or whoever players, be it in education or private even, or even government sectors, be it in one group or one committee, so that our direction for the country is well managed. So we have a strategic direction on archival advocacy, not just to our future generation, but from current generation, and then we pass to a future generation. So we have a something like strategic planning, or towards educating history to our nation. All right. I will also to see perhaps I don't know. I think I've never heard of like historical games. Just now we have like documentary, and then we have apps. I think we don't have historical games because youngsters nowadays, they love very much on games. I think adult as well maybe. Some of the fathers left their children play their own games, and then the father also, or the mother also likes their own games and whatnot. So games is very much related to our society today. So why not maybe those who are creative enough to use archival material and come out with games, so that indirectly maybe it can one of the ways to promote society to love history. So because one I would like to share one company, I think they do develop some sort like tuition through games, so that they encourage students instead of student playing games. I don't know what the games. I'm not a fond of games, but yeah, my kids love games. They have, so instead of like playing non-educational games, now they use the so-called educational games on subject like mathematics or history and others, so that they do it every day, like few hours, and then that give merit and then give points to whatever they want to achieve in one day, in a day. So in a way, it seems like that's another alternative or option. Instead of we are letting our kids with so-called what do we say? Not that useful games towards that can benefit them. I'm lots of words. All right. What else? Yeah. It seems like this final session, the word passion is very important. Yeah. In whatever we do, passion is important. So we have in our heart. When we have something in our heart, we'll do it 100% or even 200%. We give our 500% maybe. So let's all of us to have passion in educating our society, be it in Malaysia or our Indonesia or Philippines or Thailand, whoever or wherever we are. Let's be patient of what we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you for the comment and also suggestion. Basically, we are talking about the interest and also the passion. Combination of two probably will be much powerful than whatever we did, okay? Okay, I would like to give maybe a few words from panelists before we end the session. Probably we'll start with Dr. Woon first. You have anything to say for last word? Please.
Yes, before the close panel, I would like to express my thanks to the organizer, and I'd like to insist for all of you, archivists from ASEAN members, to think about our advocacy and our duty not to preserve our precious archives, even if it's not yet the documented heritage, but we keep and we try to do everything to put access to our public, especially to our young generation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Woon. Please, Dato'.
Dr. Tan, just let me just answer that lady's questions. Just that actually you were saying about history games. Actually, we have the traditional game. It's part of the heritage and social practices that is embedded in this as well. Yeah. So maybe I just want to ask, anybody knows about kecang? Ada tak yang tahu? What is kerchang? You see, that is our traditional game, which is made, and it's made from rattan, and it's very, you have to use your genius to actually take out this, so-called a rubber band or a band, which is in the rattan, to take it out from that. So I think most of us, you see, none of you know about kerchang. So I think traditional is actually part of heritage, yeah. But just among my last, I wouldn't say words, it's rather sentence. I think in general, the need to conserve our heritage, be it archives, tangible or intangible, underwater and so on, should be, done by everybody with, the collaboration of all stakeholders, and not only for tourism and for other purposes, but generally or mainly is for our heritage and how we need to pass down. And my last few words is that protect the past to define our present and yes, and for us to pass for the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dato'. So, Dato' Sidek, yes, last word from you.
Thank you. Okay. Finally, I think, to close the session, I know everybody is ready to go for lunch. As you know, all get ready, set already, waiting for Dr. Tan say go. But I will stop you for 1 or 2 minutes. One, I think from now on, the profession in either in this heritage and whatever, you have to strengthen your networking, and then also you have to make friends lah. Don't depend on, you have to have institution, you have to have a committee, but you must have friends all the time in the same area, in the same subject matter or related to subject matter. Because informal relationship is very important to me in order for you to succeed. Formal is a problem sometimes, there's some challenges, but informal relationship, you get things done better, easier, and faster. So that is my message to you all. And secondly, I would like to touch on what Suryati said just now about games. I think before I retired last time, we did invite many people to archives. And then I did mention, I can't remember, 10 years ago, I know the record is inside here, but it's very deep inside, so I have to take time for me to retrieve. So I did challenge some of the youngsters, I said, okay, you are a developer of this thing, and then I'm sure Malaysian have some potential who can create games, historical games, So why don't you try to develop, and then let the guys, for example, if you take Hang Tuah or Hang Jebat, this is in a video game, but and then if they fight and they menang, they won, they get some points or what, just like video game. You turn it into video game. And I'm sure we have a lot of people in Cyberjaya or wherever, I don't know, there are a lot of lab there and whatnot. If you can tap few people of these, and then try to develop something like that, using, like President said just now, we have a traditional game. Now, kids, they want to play golf, video, see, using their handphone. So why can't you traditional game, you transform into application also, right? So, and we've been talking about developing people in Cyberjaya, where we have a lab or what there, develop entrepreneurs, but how many is going into this area? So I think it's time. But the opportunity is we must sort of network with them. And that is because I don't know how much time do I have to meet you again. Not that old, but still 67 is quite, old already. So this is my message. Networking is number one. You make friends. Don't depend on official channel all the time. You must depend on friendship. And then challenge the youngsters who develop the games to come out to some games related to heritage. And also, I made one proposal last time. You know, this distributor of the games, this guy is a distributor of the games to all the outlet yang main game, video games. So we discussed, how can we help us in creating awareness? He said, I can do. Before you want to play the games, the message come out. If you don't read the message, the game will not move to the next level. So you got a message. There's some message there on one line or two lines, something on history, So before they play games, this is a Western game, but he can insert. So he said, when you open the game, this guy are crazy, So eyes to eyes, two eyes to watching the message. So that might be an impact, but unfortunately I can't. So thank you very much. I would like to thank Sarbika, the chairman, Dato' Azmi, and the staff, and also my colleague here, Dr. Wu, my old friend Joko, and many more. And also I would like to take again this opportunity to thank you all the staff of Arcade Negara who gave me, and also other government department, for making all these things good, and thank you to Dr. Tan being representative for the ministry, being supportive of the archive. Not many people like the archive anyway. In my life, when I was working, I have a hard time to convince. But anyway, today we have, more people is supporting the archive. So you all are lucky bunch, I'm very unlucky my time. Thank you very much, and minta maaf, I'm sorry for whatever I said, An old man always like to talk.
Okay, thank you, Dato'. Okay, before we end, actually a few conclusions I want to make. One, while embracing the Industrial Revolution 4.0, you need some creativity and innovative in terms of how to bring about this matter, especially on heritage and also archive to the in terms of advocacy to the what I call to the mass. Basically, that's very important, so that they can appreciate and understood what actually heritage and also archive are all about. Secondly, certainly the young people, we need to to train them from beginning, inculcate them, educate them from the young, especially from the school during their kindergarten and so on. Thirdly, heritage archive is a national asset to all the country in the world. Actually, it's a pride to the country. And then certainly, all these assets, including archive and also heritage, deserve to be preserved, protect, and conserve, right? So on that note, I end my presentation. Before that, thank you very much for my colleague panelists, Dr. Woon, Dr. Zainah, and Dr. Siddiq. And for myself, any shortcoming during my time in deliver this session, I seek apologize. And thank you, Sabika. Thank you, Dato' Azmi, and also Akib for inviting me to moderate the session. With that, thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. I pass to the MCs. Thank you.